Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I just picked up a copy of Gran Turismo 7 and I can't tell you how excited I was to see this particular combination as Daily Race C this week. So I wanted to do a video of, kind of me returning back to sim racing and on honestly one of my favorite combinations in this game. This Dragon Trail Seaside in reverse this time, compared to what I'm used to. That death chicane there honestly feels a little bit harder going through it in reverse than it does the other way around. But I seem to manage it just fine as I hook it up through this lap. What you're seeing is just kind of a TV view of the fastest lap I was able to set to qualify for this race. And as soon as it's done, we're going to be watching from a first-person perspective. These S's were a lot more interesting than, again, what I'm used to going in the regular direction. Took several attempts to really figure out what kind of a line I wanted to take through there. And even though I think I've got it kind of figured out on how to take it, I'm still not quite pushing as hard as I would like through it. This section, especially where you're racing in first-person mode, it's very difficult to see where to turn in on the left here. It's kind of on top of you before you realize it, and you have to be taking the turn as it becomes visible. So here we go, on to first-person. I'm gonna just leave it to y'all to watch and maybe give me some feedback. So there we have it. The optimal was showing about a second faster, but I just could not for the life of me hook up those individual sections to do that. So on to race 1 out of 3. Everything's going to end up starting fairly cleanly here. We're going to just take it nice and easy through turn 1. This isn't really the type of turn that I've seen where there's just a lot of chaos. Everyone just kind of lines up and goes through. P2 does have a little bit of trouble in front of me, and it looks like I might be able to overtake him, but where I'm just not used to the medium tires quite yet. All my laps have been run on softs. I wasn't able to hook up that turn securely enough to go ahead and capitalize on that. The first run through the chicane, oh death, everything goes through smoothly for me, but as you can hear, not so much for some people behind us. But keeping a good line, keeping a good pace, and moving on through this nasty hairpin, which, nasty, maybe not necessarily the word here, but it's just not an easy turn to make. Nasty in the sense that it's very difficult to get right. Through the S section. The S section, I find myself doing it right, doing it wrong, doing it right, doing it wrong, catching a little bit of the lip of the curb there. I noticed that the curbs are much, much different from how they were in sport. It feels like they've raised the outside lip. The Porsche tries to go around the outside, brakes too late, but compromises my exit and is able to actually pick up speed and go ahead and get back around me. Fun little first bit of action in the race so far. Jumping forward to the start of the next lap, we're going through the chicane here, and it doesn't end up good for several of us there. There's the Porsche in front, myself, with that guy sitting sideways. It's just such a difficult section to nail, and as you're about to see, I'm going to continue to just not get it right. We're going to jump ahead to lap 3, where I go ahead and mess it up again, and go ahead and jump to lap 5, where I mess it up again. Getting consistency through here, especially with other cars on the track, is very difficult, as it warps your perspective of the line. Scooch into the end of the lap. We're going to go ahead and serve our penalty here, like we have a choice, and then go ahead and box and get our soft tires on. Now, with the change of perspective, there's also a promise to ourselves that hopefully with more familiar tires, we can go ahead and have a much cleaner race and maybe hook up those chicanes a little better. But we're going to see that due to my own ignorance and inexperience, I kind of already break my promise of a clean race as I cross the line of the pit and pick up a 3-second penalty. That seems awfully harsh, but I guess really, if you're considering the safety ramifications of the situation, cutting somebody off and creating havoc, I get it. So here we are approaching the chicane. Nail it. Great. Grand. Moving on. See the end of the lap. Serve the penalty, and let's see if we can start that promise now. Lap 7, nailed. Lap 8, nailed. And it looks like we're even going to pick up a position here. He's got a penalty, so we're just going to zoom on past him. Must have messed up there, but I missed my braking point, massively overshoot it, and he just circles back around me, taking exactly the line he should. I get stuck behind him here for most of the rest of the lap until he has to serve his penalty here, right there at the end. And of course we get right past him and pick up a 2 for 1 as he had just served his own. Moving forward just a bit, again, to our attempt at the chicane for number 9. Catch the wall, scrape, but fortunately saved myself a penalty. The guy behind me not so lucky. He must have hit with just more force than I did, just enough to beat that threshold. And we're going to go ahead and jump to the end of lap 9, as there's nothing else really to report here. I do have one guy set on my sights. Is one lap going to be enough to make up the difference in our times here? And I know the deltas are missing, and that's unfortunate, but as we're strolling around the corner here, no passing, well, looks like somebody's going to feed us that position for us anyways, and we end up getting number 5 and finishing out the race in position 5. So ultimately, I don't think that was really that bad a loss. On into race 2. Now, race 2 starts out very much the same. Qualified for P3 once more. You know, come into that first turn cleanly, no incident. But it ends up being both a cleaner race, but a much worse race at the same time. You'll see what I mean here in just a moment as we come into the chicane of death. Kept intentional distance here in case something happened. Take it fine, but he gets hung up on the wall. I make contact with his rear. I guess it unsettles him enough to where he's forced into the wall, and I grab a 3-second penalty for that contact. Not quite what I would call fair. I don't know, maybe. Get to the end of the race here. Go ahead and get off the racing line when you're serving your penalty. That will become relevant here later, as somebody else doesn't do that, and it ends up pretty poorly between myself and this other driver near the end of the race. Coming down into turn 1 of lap 2, I guess P6 felt that that was enough of an invitation to go ahead and jump on through, so kind of pushes me aside. I keep good exit speed, but ultimately P7's right on my rear, and he is actually trying to come up beside me here, and as I'm watching him, I lose concentration, catch both barriers, then the wall, and I'm left completely spun around, and and here I am in P14, making the slow, lonely trudge to the end of the lap and the penalty line. Jump forward into the third attempt at the chicane and hook it up just fine, but as we'll see in lap 4, not so much. Another 3-second penalty. As is per usual, serve it up and yeah, continue on into lap 5. Making promises to myself, can I keep it clean? I do. Gonna go ahead and pit after lap 5 here and pick up our softs. If there's one thing you need to do to excel in anything, really is be consistent, and you will have a minimum level of success automatically. Well, so far, all we've really managed is a little bit of being consistent in screwing ourselves over, especially on race 2 here. Taking the chicane for the 6th time, make it clean, we're back on familiar tires, and we make sure that it stays, you know, positively consistent. Well, here's a bit of hope here. Make it through the chicane cleanly, and we've got somebody just in front of us who's messed it up, and we managed to catch up with them here just at the end of lap 6 when they pit. So, there's some feel good. Maybe we can carry that feel good through the rest of the race. On board through attempt 7 through the chicane. We do hook that up nicely, jump to the end of lap 7. It appears we're actually catching up on somebody. They're way off in the distance, so I'm a little confused as to why they are carrying such a slow speed this far into the straight. Perhaps they just had a massive penalty they needed to serve. Go ahead and come in on their inside, hook it up nice and easy, and get past them with little to no effort here. All we can do from this point is just spend the last 3 laps trying to recover any and everything we possibly can. Into lap 9 through the S section, we're greeted with another yellow flag and the hope, the light at the end of the tunnel that we might be able to recover at least one more position here. Now, we hook up these sections fairly nicely and we are gaining on them. I know you can't tell because apparently they still have not fixed the delta issue on replays, but when I mentioned earlier in this race about getting off the racing line when you serve your penalty, this is exactly what I was referencing here. The racer in front of us is serving a penalty and puts us in a position to immediately catch up, and here he kind of just cuts in, and I guess he was trying to go for the pit lane, but he had already changed his tires when I went back and looked, and here's another angle, just fishtail in the grass and knock him over. I kind of found it funny in the moment just due to how all the sounds and everything looked and how I just whipped into him. At his expense, unfortunately, I did find that funny, and here's a look from his perspective, and here I come, just tail whip, bam, into the wall, like some kind of rampant Gyarados. But all I can do is continue on from this point and, try to hook up this last lap, try to keep it good, even though I kind of destroyed his race. He kind of got in my way. Don't know if he was just trying to hide in the pit till the end or something. I don't know. But yeah, here's our last attempt through the chicane. Make it cleanly. Thank goodness. And here's the end of the race. P9 recovered 5 positions. Some of them handed over, some of them not. But race 3 really doesn't have much to report. Actually qualified first in this instance, and it's just a first place hot lap to the end of the race. I end up in P2 for just a moment as myself and the driver behind me dive into the pits, and P3 continues on for 1 lap. But ultimately he still has to pit at the end of that lap, and we continue on and stay in P1. Just wanted to note that it was kind of at this point that I noticed my traction control had been on. It wasn't on for qualifying, so I'm not really sure how it got turned on here. I thought I had turned it off completely in the assist, so I'll make sure you get that turned off. Jump to the pits, end of lap 5, swap over to the softs, and as you'll see, driver goes ahead and gets on past us. Make sure to watch the line on the exit. Don't pick up a useless 3-second penalty. And we're going to jump forward to when I catch him here, just at the last little bit of the lap, and overtake him pretty swiftly. And his tires are pretty worn at that point, so I'm sure he is struggling to make that section of the lap. And end of lap 10, first victory on Gran Turismo 7. Super excited to be back playing, and I hope that I can get more videos out when I have the moment. So thank you for watching this one, and y'all take care.